All right, all week long, we have been talking about the power of dads. Dads, like all of these that I have on the panel with me today, who have a lot of difficult conversations that they have to have with their kids. And a lot of those talks actually come from what these guys are covering here at work.
Sex, strangling, money, and a possible murder.
As a black man, he wore a hoodie, and you said, you know, that you're not trying to put race into it, but do you believe that he was a violent person?
He just said he shot his dad. The person is dead laying on the ground.
Well, I know one thing is that, you know, George Zimmerman will be able to defend himself. Trayvon Martin cannot.
Oh, just a few of the subjects. Josh, for you, though, it's terrorism, right?
It is. Yeah, I mean, you know what's going on. You know what I do here. I cover a lot of the biggest stories that there are going on around the world. And one of the toughest things always to talk to your kids about is what's going on globally. And, you know, terrorism is coming up all the time. My sons are 6 and 3. So the question is, at what point do I want to make sure they start getting some of this reality? And as a dad especially, you want to toughen up your boys. You know, you want your boys to grow up to be men. So it's in your mind all that they're my cute good little guys. You want to remind them that, like, there are bad things in the world, but I don't want them to think you could be walking along the street and suddenly a bomb could hit you, or that there are these horrible people out there that want you dead. So what you do is I try to take it very gently. There are bad people in the world, but there are way more good people in the world, and just take it really, really slowly. But I'll tell you, I don't have the answers. It's always a tough battle every day.
And a tough one for you, Boston bombings. How did you deal with that with your kids?
Well, anything that makes the national news, I always try to intersect and get into the cafeteria newsroom, because that's what's happening in elementary schools all around the country, is that these kids are sitting there and they're discussing things that are grown-up issues, and kids are talking about them. So the first thing I had to tell my kids, because they wanted to know, Dad, are we safe? You know, are they going to catch the people? And that's what I have to instill in them. Yes, they are going to be caught. Yes, you are safe. But to keep them from learning something in a classroom cafeteria from another 11-year-old or a 9-year-old,
they will hear about
they'll hear it. And parents have to realize that they are going to be discussing what's going on in the news, because they are talking about it at the school.
Better they hear from you. I
agree.
agree.
Definitely.
Dr. Drew and your gorgeous triplets, you've had to talk about all kinds of things with your kids. But, you know, you're Mr. Loveline as well. You talk about addiction all the time. And that's what we worry about the most with our kids. I mean, and here you are, an expert on this stuff. What's that dynamic like at home when they come to you or you want to talk to them?
Yeah, I mean, this is very complex area, and you guys are absolutely right on. You make the kids feel safe, first of all. Let me address the issue of addiction. I have had the conversation with my kids in their early teen years where I said, look, you know what I do for a living. I see parents all the time not doing what I tell them to do. So no, well, that's my dog. That's not my kids. There's my kids.
You talk to the dog, too. Come on now.
And if you get involved with these things, I will be very deliberate in the action that we take, and I will kill me, but believe me, the axe will fall, and it will fall hard. These days, they're 20-year-old college students, and they are deeply, passionately involved in the issues we talk about here in HLN, sexism and racism, and they want to have very intellectual conversations about this. When they were kids, though, here's the issue when they're kids. You, as a parent, need to screen what's coming in, but when you decide something is appropriate for viewing, watch it with them. That's important. And then tell them, ask them if they have questions. Let them come to you, and to keep coming to you. The dialogue is what's important. And then, as we've all said, let them know they're safe.
You ask them what they've heard, too, right? So you know where they're coming from with their questions.
You guys are always on the show because you're the experts. I have you guys on because you have your expertise in various things, right? So let me ask you this, as dads, are your kids ever intimidated to come to you or talk to you, and how do you deal with that? Right?
I think that's in your control by making sure that they know they can always come to you with absolutely anything, that you won't judge them, that you won't say, no, 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 I refuse to address that topic with you. Make them feel comfortable.
And the very first thing you do is you put down the smartphone, you put down the iPad, you say, okay, you have my complete attention, because the first thing they want to do is see that you're not paying attention, and they go off to something else.
And you can just start off by saying, I'm right, and this is the deal. Now,